Welcome! On this slide, we embark on a profound exploration into the concept of after death, examining both the deeply ingrained beliefs humanity has held for millennia and the realities we attempt to comprehend through science and philosophy. Across virtually every culture and religion, the question of what happens after our final breath has shaped worldviews, ethical frameworks, and our very understanding of existence. We will touch upon the rich tapestry of spiritual traditions, from the cyclical nature of reincarnation to the promise of an eternal resting place, each offering comfort, meaning, and guidance. Simultaneously, we acknowledge the ongoing scientific and philosophical inquiries that seek to understand consciousness, the biological processes of dying, and the limits of our empirical knowledge. This exploration aims not to provide definitive answers, but to open a dialogue, fostering an appreciation for the diverse ways humanity has grappled with life's ultimate mystery, inviting us to reflect on its profound implications for how we live and how we perceive our place in the universe. Defining death transcends simple biological cessation, encompassing profound philosophical considerations. Biologically, death is traditionally understood as the irreversible cessation of circulatory and respiratory functions, leading to systemic anoxia. Modern medical science further refines this to the concept of brain death, signifying the complete and irreversible loss of all brain function, including the brainstem, which is crucial for consciousness and autonomous bodily regulation. Philosophically, the definition of death delves into questions of personhood, consciousness, and the unique human experience. It explores whether death is merely a biological event or the end of an individual's capacity for thought, emotion, and interaction with the world. This dual perspective highlights the complexity in understanding the ultimate boundary of life. Across the annals of human history, one of our most profound and enduring quests has been the pursuit of immortality. This aspiration transcends geographical and cultural boundaries, manifesting in diverse forms from ancient myths to contemporary scientific endeavors. Early civilizations, grappling with the mysteries of life and death, often conceived of an afterlife, rebirth cycles, or eternal spiritual realms. The Egyptians meticulously prepared for an eternal existence, while various mythologies across the globe explored elixirs of life or divine interventions. During the medieval period, alchemists tirelessly sought the Philosopher's Stone, believing it held the key to transmuting base metals into gold and conferring eternal life. In our modern era, this ancient longing has been transmuted into scientific exploration, with significant investments in anti-aging research, regenerative medicine, and genetic engineering. The human quest for immortality is not merely a desire to prolong existence, but fundamentally reflects our innate drive for meaning, continuity, and to overcome the limitations of our finite lives, leaving an indelible mark on the universe. Across the vast tapestry of human history and civilization, one concept consistently reappears: the belief in an existence beyond physical death. This notion of an afterlife is a profound cultural universal, woven into the fabric of nearly every society, ancient and modern. While the specific manifestations vary dramatically, from the cyclical journey of reincarnation in Eastern traditions to the spiritual realms of Abrahamic faiths and the ancestral veneration seen in many indigenous cultures, the underlying human quest to comprehend mortality and what lies beyond remains constant. These diverse conceptual frameworks not only provide comfort and meaning in the face of the unknown, but also deeply influence moral codes, societal structures, and our understanding of human purpose. Our innate inclination towards afterlife beliefs stems from profound psychological underpinnings. Firstly, the universal human fear of death, or existential dread, compels us to seek solace and meaning beyond our finite existence. This fundamental anxiety often manifests as a desire for continuity, an extension of self, or a purposeful journey after physical cessation. Secondly, our cognitive architecture plays a significant role. Humans are inherently predisposed to pattern recognition, agency detection, and the attribution of intention even in ambiguous phenomena. These cognitive biases can lead us to interpret the inexplicable as evidence of an unseen realm or conscious entities, fostering the belief in a spirit world or a personal afterlife. Our brains are wired to construct coherent narratives, and the afterlife provides a compelling, ultimate narrative arc. Finally, social and cultural reinforcement profoundly shapes these convictions. Beliefs in an afterlife are often inherited through generations, taught within family structures, and solidified by community rituals and traditions. These shared narratives offer social cohesion, comfort in times of loss, and a framework for morality, making them deeply ingrained components of individual and collective identity. Together, these psychological and social factors create a compelling tapestry of belief that transcends individual experience. The ancient Egyptian concept of the afterlife was not merely a destination, but an arduous journey through the Duat, the mythical underworld. This nocturnal realm was fraught with both peril and profound spiritual challenges. Guided by sacred texts like the Book of the Dead, the deceased soul embarked on a complex voyage, navigating 12 hours corresponding to the sun god Ra's passage through the night. Along this path, the soul confronted various divine tribunals, evaded monstrous entities, and underwent transformative rituals designed to purify and prepare it for eternal existence. Key figures like Anubis, the god of mummification, and Thoth, the scribe of the gods, often accompanied or adjudicated the soul's progress. The culmination of this perilous journey was the crucial weighing of the heart ceremony before Osiris, the lord of the underworld, determining the soul's worthiness for the eternal paradise, known as the Field of Reeds, a serene and abundant realm echoing the fertile lands of the Nile.
In Mythos Mythologia, η journey after death led souls to the vast realm of Hades, named after its formidable ruler. This underworld was not a singular destination, but rather comprised distinct regions reflecting a soul's earthly deeds. Elysium, or the Elysian Fields, represented the ultimate reward, a paradisiacal land of eternal spring, graced with lush landscapes and serene beauty, where the virtuous, heroes, and those favored by the gods enjoyed perpetual peace and bliss. Conversely, Tartarus stood as the deepest and most dreadful abyss within the underworld. It served as a cosmic prison, primarily for the Titans and those who committed grievous transgressions against the divine order. Here, souls endured relentless and eternal torment, a stark testament to the consequences of profound wickedness.
Norse mythology presents a complex and multifaceted view of the afterlife, contrasting starkly with monolithic concepts. The most renowned realm is Valhalla, Odin's majestic hall in Asgard. Here, half of the warriors slain honorably in battle are chosen by the Valkyries to feast and train daily, preparing to fight alongside Odin during Ragnarok, the prophesied end of the world. Simultaneously, the other half of these valorous fallen warriors are welcomed into Folkvangr, the beautiful and serene fields presided over by the goddess Freya. Within Folkvangr lies her hall, Sessrumnir, offering a more tranquil yet equally esteemed destination for the brave. For those who do not die in battle, whether from illness, old age, or accident, their destination is Helheim. This cold, shadowy realm is ruled by the goddess Hel, daughter of Loki. Helheim is a desolate underworld, a place of quiet rest rather than punishment, distinct from the vibrant gatherings of Valhalla or Folkvangr, reflecting a range of fates based on the circumstances of one's demise. Abrahamic traditions, encompassing Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, articulate distinct yet often conceptually similar views on the afterlife. Heaven is widely understood as the ultimate spiritual reward, an eternal state of perfect communion with the divine, characterized by profound peace and bliss. Conversely, hell is consistently depicted as a place or state of eternal separation from God, marked by suffering and punishment. Within Catholicism, a specific doctrine of purgatory exists. This is not presented as a third eternal destination, but rather as a transitional state where souls destined for heaven undergo necessary purification to achieve the holiness required for entry into divine presence. These doctrines collectively provide a foundational framework for understanding post-mortem existence across a significant segment of global religious thought. Christianity posits a distinct and foundational understanding of the afterlife, anchored in three core tenets. Firstly, the bodily resurrection. Christians believe that at the end of time, not only will the soul be reunited with God, but the physical body itself will be resurrected and glorified, transforming into an immortal, incorruptible form. This doctrine underscores the sanctity of the human body and the holistic nature of salvation. Secondly, eternal life. For those who accept Christ, the promise of eternal life is granted. This is not merely endless existence, but a blessed and perpetual communion with God, characterized by peace, joy, and the absence of suffering, experienced in a renewed heaven and earth. Finally, judgment. All individuals will face a divine judgment, a final accounting for their actions and beliefs during their earthly lives. This judgment determines eternal destiny, leading either to eternal fellowship with God in heaven or eternal separation in hell. These three concepts collectively form the Christian framework for understanding the ultimate fate of humanity. Judaism presents a rich, multifaceted, and evolving understanding of the afterlife. Central to this is Olam Haba, or the world to come. This concept carries diverse interpretations, ranging from a future messianic era of universal peace and spiritual perfection on earth to a purely spiritual realm where souls experience ultimate communion with the divine. Many interpretations also include the resurrection of the dead. Conversely, Sheol, as an ancient Hebrew term often translated as the grave, the pit, or the underworld. Historically, Sheol was viewed as a shadowy, undifferentiated realm where all souls eventually resided, distinct from later developed concepts of reward or punishment. It signifies a state of spiritual absence or repose rather than a specific place of torment. The interpretations of both Olam Haba and Sheol have developed significantly throughout Jewish history, leading to a spectrum of beliefs that continue to be debated and understood uniquely across different denominations, from orthodox views emphasizing physical resurrection to more mystical or philosophical interpretations of the soul's journey. This diversity underscores the dynamic nature of Jewish eschatology. In Hinduism, the understanding of life after death is deeply rooted in the doctrines of samsara, karma, and the cycles of reincarnation. Samsara represents the ceaseless cycle of birth, life, death, and subsequent rebirth that every soul undertakes. This cosmic journey is fundamentally governed by karma, the principle that every action, thought, and word generates corresponding reactions, thereby shaping one's future existences. Positive actions cultivate favorable karma, leading to auspicious rebirths, whereas negative actions incur unfavorable consequences. Consequently, reincarnation describes the process by which the individual's soul, or Atman, transmigrates from one physical body to another after death, with its next embodiment directly determined by the cumulative karma from all past lives. This cyclical journey, though continuous, is not eternal. The ultimate aspiration in Hinduism is moksha, liberation from samsara, achieved through spiritual enlightenment and righteous living, culminating in union with the divine. Buddhism offers a profound perspective on existence, centered on the understanding and cessation of suffering. At its core is the concept of rebirth, or samsara, an endless cycle of existence driven by attachment, aversion, and ignorance. This cycle is fueled by karma, the actions and intentions that shape future states. The ultimate goal in Buddhism is nirvana, the state of complete liberation.
Nirvana signifies the extinguishing of craving, hatred, and delusion, bringing about an end to suffering and the cycle of rebirth. It is a state of profound peace, inner stillness, and unconditional freedom, achieved through diligent practice, moral conduct, meditation, and wisdom, primarily guided by the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path. This liberation offers not an afterlife in a heavenly realm, but a transformative release from the conditions of suffering inherent in cyclical existence. In Sikhism, the post-mortem journey focuses on mukti, or liberation, and the soul's ultimate union with the divine, referred to as Vaheguru. Mukti signifies freedom from the cycle of rebirth, or samsara, which is dictated by one's karma. This liberation is attained not through asceticism, but through a life dedicated to righteous conduct, selfless service to humanity, seva, and constant remembrance of God's name, Simran. The pinnacle of spiritual achievement is the dissolution of ego and the complete merger of the individual soul with the formless, eternal, and omnipresent Vaheguru. This union represents a return to the soul's divine source, a state of absolute peace, truth, and blissful oneness, transcending individual identity to become part of the divine whole. Across diverse indigenous cultures, death is often perceived not as an end, but as a transition within a continuous cycle of existence. A central tenet is the enduring presence of ancestor spirits, who remain deeply connected to their living descendants. These ancestors are not merely memories, they are active participants in the community, offering guidance, protection, and influencing daily life from the spirit world. The concept of the spirit world varies, yet it consistently describes a sacred realm where the departed reside. This realm is often depicted as parallel to the physical world, a place of spiritual energy and ancestral wisdom. It is a space of transformation and continued being, where the spirits maintain their roles and relationships within the cosmic order. Through sacred rituals, ceremonies, and storytelling, indigenous peoples honor their ancestors and facilitate communication across these realms. These practices reinforce the profound intergenerational bonds and the belief that the wisdom and presence of the ancestors are vital for the well-being and continuity of the community. This holistic perspective underscores a deep reverence for life, death, and the intricate, sacred web that connects all beings past, present, and future. Shamanism, an ancient spiritual practice, centers on the shaman's ability to enter altered states of consciousness, purposefully traversing non-ordinary realities. These journeys are not merely metaphorical. They represent a profound engagement with spirit worlds, often described as parallel dimensions of existence. Within these realms, shamans interact with spirit guides, power animals, and the revered spirits of ancestors, seeking profound wisdom, healing, and direct insight into life's most complex questions, including the cycles of death and rebirth. This practice offers a framework for understanding existence beyond the purely physical, emphasizing the interconnectedness of all beings and the continuous flow of spiritual energy. The concept of consciousness persisting after death is a cornerstone of profound philosophical inquiry. Central to this debate is the fundamental question of consciousness's nature. Is it an emergent property of the physical brain, inseparable from its biological functions, a view known as physicalism? Or is consciousness a distinct, non-physical entity capable of existing independently of the body, as posited by dualism? This dichotomy drives extensive debate within metaphysics and philosophy of mind. Furthermore, the hard problem of consciousness challenges us to explain how subjective experience, the feeling of what it is like to be, can arise from objective physical processes, and whether this subjective experience could endure without a physical substrate. Finally, questions of personal identity become paramount. What aspects of ourself, our memories, personality, or an underlying essence could conceivably persist beyond the body's dissolution, and how would this continuity be maintained? These are not mere theoretical constructs, but fundamental inquiries shaping our understanding of existence, mortality, and the very essence of being. For those who identify with atheism, the concept of an afterlife is typically rejected. Existence, including consciousness and identity, is understood to be entirely contingent upon biological function. Upon death, these functions cease, leading to the definitive end of personal existence. From an agnostic perspective, the possibility of an afterlife is not necessarily denied, but rather deemed unknowable due to the absence of verifiable evidence. This position maintains that one cannot definitively confirm or deny any form of post-mortem existence. Consequently, both atheism and agnosticism converge on the cessation of individual consciousness and personal identity as the expected outcome of death, shifting the emphasis to the inherent value and finite nature of life in the present moment. Humanism offers a profound perspective on existence, asserting that meaning and purpose are forged within this singular, mortal life. It champions human reason, ethics, and compassion as the foundations for a fulfilling existence, rather than relying on supernatural doctrines. Humanists believe our ultimate responsibility is to cultivate a life of integrity and contribution, striving for the well-being of humanity and the preservation of our shared planet. This philosophy inspires individuals to seek knowledge, foster genuine human connections, and contribute positively to society, thereby crafting a rich, meaningful legacy through their actions and impact on the world. Existentialism, a profound philosophical movement, centers on the individual's confrontation with existence and non-being. It posits that humans are free to create their own meaning in a world devoid of inherent purpose. The concept of non-being is crucial, representing the ultimate absence of existence, often understood as the state before birth and after death. This philosophical framework compels us to acknowledge our inherent freedom and the profound responsibility that accompanies it. Mortality, therefore, is not merely an end, but a defining condition that shapes our experience of life. By confronting our finitude, existentialism argues, we are propelled to define our values, make authentic choices, and imbue our transient lives with personal significance. Transhumanism represents a philosophical and scientific movement striving to transcend fundamental human limitations, including the inevitability of death through advanced technologies. Two prominent pathways within this ideology are digital immortality and cryopreservation. Digital immortality posits the theoretical future where human consciousness could be uploaded or transferred into digital forms, allowing for existence within virtual environments or advanced artificial constructs, thereby escaping biological decay. Complementary to this, cryopreservation involves the scientific practice of preserving human bodies or brains at ultra-low temperatures immediately following legal death. The underlying premise is that future advancements in medical technology could enable their reanimation and healing, offering a path to extended life beyond current biological limits. Both concepts represent ambitious attempts to redefine life and consciousness in the context of technological progression. Near-death experiences, or NDEs, are profound subjective events reported by individuals who have been at the brink of death or clinically dead, subsequently resuscitated. These experiences are characterized by a consistent set of phenomenological insights across cultures and demographics. Common elements include out-of-body experiences, where individuals perceive themselves separate from their physical body, often observing it from a distance. Many describe moving through a tunnel or void towards an intensely bright yet comforting light. Encounters with deceased loved ones or benevolent spiritual beings are also frequently reported, accompanied by overwhelming feelings of peace, love, and a sense of timelessness or altered reality. A pivotal aspect of many NDEs is a panoramic life review, where one's entire life flashes before them, often from an empathetic, non-judgmental perspective. These experiences invariably lead to profound and lasting psychological, spiritual, and existential transformations, often reducing the fear of death and instilling a deeper sense of purpose and compassion.
NDEs offer compelling qualitative data that challenges conventional materialist explanations of consciousness, prompting significant scientific and philosophical inquiry into the nature of existence beyond the physical body. Near-death experiences, or NDEs, consistently feature several striking common elements reported across diverse cultures and individuals. A primary characteristic is the out-of-body experience, where individuals describe observing their physical body and immediate environment from an elevated vantage point, often accompanied by a profound sense of calm and detachment. This state frequently transitions into an encounter with a brilliant and benevolent light, or a being of light, universally described as a source of overwhelming peace, unconditional love, and profound understanding. A third pervasive element is the life review, a rapid and panoramic re-experiencing of one's entire life, often from various perspectives, leading to deep insights and a renewed sense of purpose. These recurring motifs form the core narrative of many NDE accounts, underscoring their profound impact on those who experience them. Physiological theories offer compelling scientific explanations for near-death experiences, focusing on the brain's responses to extreme stress. One prominent theory points to hypoxia or anoxia, where a severe lack of oxygen to the brain, often occurring during cardiac arrest or other critical events, can induce vivid hallucinations, altered perceptions, and a sense of detachment, closely mirroring many reported NDE elements. Another significant factor is the brain's natural pain and stress response system. During life-threatening situations, the body can release a flood of endorphins, powerful neurochemicals that produce feelings of euphoria, peace, and analgesia, contributing to the serene sensations often described. Furthermore, temporary disruptions or abnormal electrical activity within the brain, particularly in the temporal lobes, are also investigated. Such activity, potentially triggered by trauma or stress, has been linked to out-of-body sensations, altered perceptions of time, and profound spiritual feelings in clinical settings, providing a neurological basis for elements of the NDE. From a psychological perspective, near-death experiences are often interpreted as complex coping mechanisms, particularly in response to profound existential threats. These experiences can serve as a potent psychological defense against the overwhelming fear of death, providing a narrative framework that mitigates anxiety surrounding mortality. The brain, under extreme physiological stress, such as during oxygen deprivation or severe trauma, may generate vivid, comforting narratives and perceptions. This is an adaptive response, leveraging the brain's inherent capacity for meaning-making to construct a sense of peace and transcendence. Consequently, for many, integrating an NDE into their life narrative can become a powerful tool for psychological resilience, fostering a more positive outlook on life and a reduced fear of dying by framing an otherwise terrifying event into a profound, often transformative personal experience. Near-death experiences, or NDEs, represent a profound phenomenon often reported by individuals who have approached clinical death. These experiences frequently involve common themes, such as out-of-body sensations, encounters with deceased loved ones, and journeys through tunnels of light. For many who report them, NDEs serve as compelling personal evidence for the existence of consciousness independent of the physical body, suggesting life beyond death. Conversely, the scientific community often interprets NDEs through a physiological lens. Theories propose that these vivid perceptions are complex brain anomalies, potentially triggered by factors such as oxygen deprivation to the brain, rapid changes in brain chemistry, or the release of endogenous psychoactive compounds during extreme stress or circulatory arrest. This ongoing debate highlights the fundamental divergence between subjective experience and objective empirical evidence, leaving the ultimate nature and implications of NDEs a subject of continued scientific and philosophical inquiry. The process of grief is a complex human experience, often approached through various theoretical models. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's renowned 5 stages, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance, provide a widely recognized framework. However, it is crucial to understand these are not linear steps, but rather oscillating emotional states. Beyond these frameworks, grief is profoundly individual. Each person's journey is unique, influenced by their relationship to the deceased, personal history, cultural background, and coping mechanisms. There is no prescribed timeline or correct way to grieve. Emotions can ebb and flow, resurface unexpectedly, and manifest in diverse ways. Ultimately, grief is a process of adaptation. It involves acknowledging the reality of the loss, experiencing the pain, adjusting to an environment without the deceased, and reinvesting emotional energy into life. While challenging, this journey allows for healing, growth, and finding a new way to relate to the enduring memory of those we have lost. Across human societies, the transition of death is marked by an extraordinary array of cultural practices and mourning rituals, each deeply embedded in specific worldviews and spiritual beliefs. These customs serve multifaceted roles. They acknowledge the finality of life, provide frameworks for processing grief, and offer solace to the bereaved. From elaborate funeral processions and ceremonial anointing in some cultures, to the solemn quiet of wakes and the ritualistic preparation of the body in others, these practices ensure a respectful departure. Whether through cremation, burial, or sky burial, the disposition of the deceased is often a sacred act. Moreover, mourning rituals often extend beyond the immediate funeral, encompassing periods of remembrance, ancestral veneration, and communal gatherings that reinforce social bonds and honor the legacy of those who have passed. These traditions underscore a universal human need to find meaning in loss and to guide the departed on their spiritual journey. Memorialization stands as a fundamental human practice, a profound testament to our enduring connections with those who have departed. It encompasses diverse rituals and expressions, from time-honored ceremonies and physical monuments to contemporary digital tributes and philanthropic initiatives. The primary purpose of memorialization is to honor the unique lives lived, acknowledging their impact and contributions, thereby affirming their continued presence in our collective consciousness. These acts of remembrance provide essential comfort to the grieving, offering tangible ways to process loss and maintain a bond with the deceased. Furthermore, memorialization preserves individual and family legacies, ensuring that stories, values, and memories transcend generations. By actively engaging in memorial practices, communities strengthen their bonds, collectively acknowledging the fragility of life while celebrating the indelible mark left by each person. It transforms grief into a purposeful act of remembrance, ensuring that no life is forgotten. The concept of legacy fundamentally addresses the indelible mark an individual imprints upon the world after their passing. It encompasses the enduring influence of one's actions, values, and principles, shaping the perspectives and decisions of future generations. Furthermore, legacy manifests through tangible contributions to communities, institutions, and the collective body of human knowledge, persisting long after the originator is gone. Ultimately, it is the sustained resonance of a life lived, continuing to inspire, guide, and affect change in the absence of the individual's physical presence. Coping with loss is a deeply personal and often challenging journey. The initial stages demand a compassionate acknowledgement of grief, allowing for the full spectrum of emotions to be experienced without suppression. This process is not linear. It involves waves of sadness, anger, confusion, and even moments of peace. Cultivating strong support systems becomes paramount. Connecting with understanding friends, family, or professional counselors provides essential solace and validation, reinforcing that one does not navigate this profound experience in isolation. Ultimately, healing involves discovering new meaning and purpose. This often manifests through honoring the memory of what was lost, whether through personal reflection, creative expression, or by engaging in actions that bring positive impact, transforming sorrow into a legacy of love and growth. The journey towards healing is a testament to human resilience, gradually revealing pathways to renewed hope and a profound understanding of life's intricate tapestry. The myriad of afterlife beliefs reveals both profound commonalities and significant divergences. A prevalent shared thread across cultures and epochs is the conviction that some form of consciousness, spirit, or essential self persists beyond physical death. This continuity often intertwines with the concept of postmortem judgment or accountability, where earthly actions determine a subsequent state or destination. Yet, alongside these universal themes, considerable divergences exist. These range from the specific nature of postmortem realms, such as paradisiacal heavens, punitive hells, or ethereal spiritual planes, to the fundamental mechanics of continuity, whether through cycles of reincarnation or a singular, linear journey into an ultimate state. The precise form and experience of this enduring existence, be it individual identity, collective consciousness, or absorption into a universal whole, also vary dramatically. This comparative analysis underscores humanity's deep-seated exploration of existence's ultimate frontier, expressed through a rich spectrum of spiritual understanding. The ultimate nature of what lies beyond life's threshold remains a profound enigma, a realm perpetually beyond human empirical or philosophical grasp. For centuries, humanity has grappled with this ultimate unknowable, often seeking definitive answers to alleviate fear or provide comfort. However, a different perspective emerges when we choose to embrace this inherent mystery. Instead of striving to conquer the unknown, we can cultivate a deep acceptance of its presence. This stance fosters not trepidation, but a profound sense of awe, an appreciation for the vastness of existence and the limits of our perception. It is in this embrace of the unknowable that we find a unique form of wonder, recognizing that some truths are not meant to be fully deciphered, but rather to be experienced and held with reverence. The mystery of after death invites us to contemplate the grand scale of the universe, prompting a humility that is both grounding and spiritually expansive. The finite nature of human existence serves not as a deterrent, but as a profound catalyst for a life imbued with meaning. Confronting mortality clarifies our priorities, compelling us to allocate our most valuable resource, time, to actions that resonate deeply with our core values. This awareness fosters an urgency for intentional living, transforming passive existence into active engagement. Purpose, therefore, is not measured by the length of one's years, but by the depth of one's impact and the authenticity of one's contributions. It is the conscious decision to define what matters most and to relentlessly pursue it. By embracing this perspective, we are empowered to cultivate a legacy not merely through grand achievements, but through consistent, intentional choices that reflect our truest selves and positively influence the world around us. This proactive approach ensures that our time, however brief, leaves an indelible, meaningful mark.